Hello, and welcome to an intro to Anthro with two humans. I'm human number one, John McCray.
And I'm human number two, John Lehr.
And this is the podcast where we reassess what it means to be human. And the title of today's episode is Slinging the Slang, a hep history of slang, flash, and cant.
What? Can't?
Cant. And for those of you who don't know what those terms mean, the lexicographer Jonathan Green says that the 1825 song All England Are Slanging It explained that flash is cant is patter, patter is lingo, lingo is language, and language is flash.
Whoa, you just freaked me out.
You see where that's going.
That's great. So the deconstruction of language is what builds language, ultimately.
Is that what you got out of that?
Yeah, I did.
It was a song. It was a popular song in 1825. So I wasn't a linguist saying that.
Okay, got it. But it's good to be back, everybody.
I know.
We've been on hiatus.
We have a little mea culpa we have to do.
Yeah, we sure do.
It's been a few weeks since our last episode, and I just want to take a moment to apologize.
Mm-hmm.
And also give a little explanation to our listeners, our fellow travelers, our fellow passengers on this journey of human self-discovery. So
you were in a horrible car accident, and while you're disfigured, it hasn't affected your voice at all. But my God, look at you.
Let me unwrap myself here a little bit.
Jesus.
For those of you, I mean, you may, despite the rumors on the internet and the AI generated videos out on Facebook,
the goddamn the Russian bots.
Really we aren't millionaire playboy anthropologists.
That's right.
And so, we from this show, we've got some great socks. We have some friendship bracelets.
Yes.
But we still have to keep our day jobs.
That's right. And sometimes they interfere.
Right.
Sometimes they interfere.
Sometimes they encroach upon our ivory towered existence here at the Intro to Anthro Institute.
Yeah.
And you and I have trouble finding a time when we both can record.
Yes, our jobs have really it was kind of this perfect storm of job problems, that conflicts that kept coming up. And we would set a record date. One of us couldn't make it. Then we'd set the new record date. Then the other one wouldn't be able to make it. And how can the first one blame the other one when he already had to cancel?
Right, so, exactly.
It was just a shit storm, but we've gotten through it. We're back. The one thing you can know about us is we will never stop. We will never stop. We may pause, but
yeah. I was going to say last week we were set up. Ready to go.
Yes.
And you were actually counting us in or counting us down in like 3, 2. And then it was like you got a text.
I got a job. And I had to go immediately. It was such a drag.
Right. So we had to scrub right as we were all set up, ready to go. It was like a rocket on the on the launch pad, like T-5, 4, and then somebody like,
no, wait.
You forgot your lunch, or whatever it is.
Booster rocket FN1, or, there's some tile that was not correct, that was peeling off, so they had to scratch it. Yeah, that was rough. We were all ready to go.
I know. It was really, I had to come down. You know me, my process to get ready for these.
Yeah, well, we were both ready. And, I apologize for that. But I had to take the gig. It was a good gig.
I know. You got to do what you got to do.
You got to do. Yeah.
But like John says, we apologize.
Mm-hmm.
We're still here
as well. Yes. Yes. We both apologize.
We're just a little behind on our syllabus.
Yes.
And don't worry, everybody, though. This isn't like snow days.
Yeah.
You know,
You'll still receive full credit, but you're also going to have to continue to pass your daily quiz, your weekly quizzes, and your midterm, which is coming up.
That's right. Stay up on the readings, everybody.
Yeah, stay up on the readings.
But just know you won't have to continue to listen to this in the summer to make up for the missed classes.
Right. We're going to get you back on track. It's our fault, not yours. So we're going to double down and get everybody through this.
Don't tell the dean. Don't tell the dean.
Don't tell the dean.
Exactly. Just between us, I've been here all along.
Yeah, because we're just adjunct professors, okay? It's not like we get pension health. We don't get any of that stuff.
We have to carry on other jobs while we're teaching.
Like most adjunct professors in the country.
All right. Well, with that out of the way, John, obviously we're going to be talking about slang today.
Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah, Daddy-o.
And I know you have kids. Do you feel that you've kept up on the current slang?
No, God, no. It's way out there. But there's some great stuff bouncing around out there.
Yeah.
It's really great. They have some good stuff. I love slang. I love it, you know?
Do you try to use some slang? Somebody like try to hear something that the kids are saying, then you try to throw that out to your kids?
No, only to prove what an idiot I am to them, to crack them up. You know, I'll use a little bit just to make them go, Dad.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than when you hear your parent using your slang.
I know that I shouldn't be using it. It's just like I know that I shouldn't have a chain connected to my wallet anymore. You know, that's got to go.
Do you?
No, not anymore. I don't even have a wallet now that I had sciatica. My doctor took my wallet away.
Really?
Yeah. He said the wallet was what was causing it. All the travel. Because I travel a lot.
Sitting on he was like, "What's in here?" He's like looking around. That's the reason you took it away. I was trying
to explain to him what was hurting me. I thought I'd thrown my back out. I couldn't figure out what the hell was wrong with me. And he goes, "You have sciatica," and he said it so fast, it kind of pissed me off.
Yeah,
because I was like, "Let me tell you what's wrong with me before." He's like, "You got sciatica." I'm like, and he goes,
just
"All right."
At you.
He goes, "How old are you?" I'm 59. Sciatica. Let me guess. You're a tall dude. Yes. You travel. You're sitting constantly. Yes. You have a wallet that you carry in your right back pocket. Yes. And he's like,
this was all over the phone?
No, I was in his office. And he said, you got to lose the wallet, man.
Yeah.
That's part of it. I have to do a lot of things. I have to go to PT. I have to rub stuff on my knee. I mean, it's getting older sucks.
Yeah. What do you do with your money now? Roll it up in a bread bag and then crotch it?
I got a little dink ball wallet that I keep in my front, for those of you watching on YouTube. It's just all it does is holds my my cards.
Yeah.
And I
what
don't carry
to you, man.
I had to. I don't even know what I was carrying around in that thick old thing. I've carried it around since I was 15, you know?
Yeah, it took a while. You're like a old sailing captain or something now. You walk sideways when you...
I know. My body finally said, stop it. Stop it.
So, John, as you know, you've known me for a long time. You know I'm a language guy.
Yes, you are.
And I studied all languages in high school and in college. And
they come very quickly to you.
Yeah, for some reason.
You are one of those people who can pick up. I mean, didn't you teach yourself Chinese?
No, not Chinese.
Gaelic?
I've studied that before.
I remember when
I did Guarani, which is like I've studied that in college. Guarani, which is like a South American Indian language.
Oh my God!
You don't even do this. Means
I
want to go to Shea Paraguay.
Oh, nice.
Means I want to go to Paraguay.
Yeah, but only 4 people speak that.
There happened to be a woman getting her master's at KU when I was there, from Paraguay, and that was how she taught class. There were like only 2 of us in that class.
See, but how many people in Paraguay speak it?
It's huge. Most of the population speak that more than Spanish.
Oh, great. All right. Yeah. Well, now we know where you're bugging out to when things go south.
Baeshapa means how are you?
It was great being in France with you because you did all the speaking. Oh, it was so nice. I just kind of hung around with you.
Still just talking shit, though. You know what I mean? Still just talking shit.
Yep.
But I was going to say my favorite podcast, apart from this one, you have to love your own babies first.
Yeah, you vote for yourself first. Put the mask on yourself before you put it on the baby.
Right. But my favorite podcast is the History of English podcast with Kevin Stroud.
Ooh.
And it's a podcast that's been going since 2012.
Wow.
I used to listen to it when I was commuting.
Yeah.
And I was commuting up to Santa Fe to work at the O'Keeffe Museum.
Right.
And I could get like one episode going up and one episode coming down.
For those of you who just tuning in, you were a security
guard at the
museum,
the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum in Santa Fe. But I commuted up there, so it was a great time to listen to books, audiobooks, and also to Kevin Stroud's The History of English podcast. And he starts back with the Indo-European language, the original Indo-European language, and then slowly worked his way up. And I checked in again because I don't commute anymore. I've lost touch with it. Yeah. But it's been going for 13 years.
Jesus. We should have him on the show.
He has 181 episodes.
Whoa.
And he's only at the 1600s.
Jesus. You know what my theory is? You needed this podcast because you were so overly sexed up from being around all those vagina paintings that you needed something super dry to kind of talk you down the hill.
That is what I needed.
You were ready to kill somebody.
Speaking of which, unfortunately, Gene Hackman, who was a Santa Fe resident, recently passed away with his wife, but you would see him out and around Santa Fe. He did the film when I worked there. He did the film on the biographical film on George O'Keeffe.
Really?
So I spent 4 years every day, multiple times, listening to Gene Hackman.
You could do a lot.
O'Keeffe country, you know.
You could do a lot worse. I love his voice. What a great actor! God, the French Connection. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Anyway, very sad. Very sad. But anyway, he's been going for 13 years. I wonder, what are we going to be talking about in 13 years?
Oh, we got plenty. I'm not even worried one bit.
I was thinking we'll do a food episode. It'd be me like feeding you through a tube. Here's your baby food, John.
Look, I'm going to just upload all the episodes into AI and ask them what we should do next.
You're doing it now, aren't you?
I am. I'm not even here.
But I recently came to a realization about myself, and realizations about yourself are the worst because you can't yell bullshit about it. Right. You can't say, fuck that guy. It's because it's you. It's you.
Yeah, it's you.
And the realization I came to about myself is that I basically use only 2 slang terms anymore.
What?
Cool and dude. Those, sometimes I'll use them together like cool dude.
You use fuck.
I would say that's more of a vulgarity or so.
That's not slang. Okay.
That's not really a slang term.
Cool and dude. I'm trying to think what else you do. You do use cool and dude. What else have I heard you say? You may be right.
I know. That's what it really struck me. That from what was at one time was a vast freshwater lake of slang terminology is now down to just a little puddle with 2 words in it.
Yeah, global warming. It just shrunk you down to you got cool and dude, and that's it.
Just like 2 fish flopping around in there, you know? And when I realized this a couple months ago, I tried to put, like most realizations about yourself, I tried to push it out of the way, try to ignore it.
Right.
Because do you try to fix it when it's yourself? No.
You just push it away, or you pay somebody to help you figure it out.
Right. And the last few months when I've been at work and I've said, every time I say cool or dude with like coworkers or friends of mine, it's like somebody just banging a drum or like hitting cymbals or something. It's like I'm so aware of it now.
Yeah, that
of me
sucks.
saying it.
That sucks. Oh, there's one. Sucks.
Yeah, sucks.
Is that vulgarity, though? So you're saying slang are words that aren't vulgar?
Well, no, I'm breaking them up because I think there's overlap between them.
But if we let in curse words, then we're going to be here all day.
Right, exactly. And I wanted to I was actually telling my cousin about this episode. She called me today. And she said, "What's the topic?" And I said, "Slang." She's like, "Oh, I want to know where does the word fuck come from?" And I was like, "Well, I'm trying to partition that off into another episode."
Yes.
Because I want to really spend time on those.
Well, that's good. That's a good decision, dude. Cool beans. Let's start thinking outside the box.
So anyway, I realize I'm like a 2-word guy now, though.
I'm trying to even think what mine are. I mean, I cuss a lot. I curse a lot.
Me too.
I love fuck is like my favorite word. It's just it has so many shadings and you know.
Yeah.
It's like that. Who's the character on the one that's a tree?
We're in the Tolkien.
No, it's in the Marvel universe.
I don't know. That
Groot. Groot is a character who only says "I am Groot," and the way he says "I am Groot," he can speak any word, but it's how he says it. That's his only. Those are his only sounds, but he can speak anything. So that's like me with fuck. I can say fuckity fuck all day, and I can tell you my life story just using the word fuck.
So we will have to save that. I think we'll save that for a different one.
Yeah, and that's its own ball of wax.
Right.
Whoop.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, I realized that for one thing, I wanted to do this episode. I wanted to figure out why people use slang.
Yeah.
What slang does for us. And then hopefully, vicariously, pick up some new words.
Good. Yeah. Let's bring you into the new world. All right.
I will say to all if you're listening to this at work right now, put the headphones on. Because this episode is going to be, it's an HR grievance waiting to happen. Okay. Or if your mother is visiting, give her some money, send her to the casino.
Yeah.
Or else
and you should be listening to this podcast with your mom anyway.
Yeah. She's going to wash her ears out with soap after this one.
Yeah.
All right. Are we ready to go?
Let's do this.
All right.
I'm excited.
Cool, dude.
I'm stoked. Oh, God.
So the first thing we need to do, John, is discuss what exactly slang is and how people feel about using slang.
Okay.
And in her book, The Life of Slang, Julie Coleman says that in 1919, the Oxford English Dictionary defined slang as, quote, the special vocabulary used by any set of persons of a low or disreputable character. Language of a low and vulgar type.
Come on. That's bullshit.
So that definition goes back to 1756. Okay?
That's motherfucking bullshit there.
I wish we could put them up when you say one. There should be like a ching. There's
I could do the, Oh, that's the only sound effect I have. Well, that and the music that always gets you going.
Hey. Welcome to Intro to Anthro with two humans, with your hosts, Javier McCray, and all right. So then, Julie Coleman says that the Old English Dictionary also defines slang as, quote, the special vocabulary or phraseology of a particular calling or profession, the cant or jargon of a certain class or period.
Okay.
And that one goes back to 1801.
Okay.
And finally, she says that the Old English Dictionary also defines slang as, quote, language of a highly colloquial type, considered as below the level of standard educated speech, and consisting either of new words or of current words employed in some special sense.
Okay.
And that one goes back to 1818.
Okay.
So obviously, slang has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And in his book, The Vulgar Tongue, Green's History of Slang, the lexicographer, and lexicographers are people who put together dictionaries.
I knew that, but I'm so glad you explained it.
Yeah, I did. I just want to put it out there. Jonathan Green says that as a linguistic phenomenon, slang predates the Christian era.
Ooh, what? What do you mean? The
So
Jews
he says
were out there. Moses?
Yeah,
Moses had some slang?
Hey, man.
Yeah, man. Here are the 10 sayings.
Yeah.
Here are the 10 talking points.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go, brothers.
For example, he says that in ancient Roman literature, which is in Latin, there were many different terms used to describe the penis.
Oh, God.
And these included references to sharp or pointed instruments.
What?
Weapons, household objects.
Okay.
Poles and stakes.
Jesus.
Agricultural instruments. Personifications and animal metaphors.
Mm-hmm. Oh, boy. An elephant
Anatomical metaphors.
Mm-hmm.
Tools, implements, vessels, private property, as well as metaphors drawn from food, nature, the sea, and from music.
Oh my, the Romans. Boy, did they have one thing on their mind.
That's right. All along I could kind of envision it, and then it got down to music.
Yeah. That's a C sharp. Is that a C sharp in your pants? Or are you happy to see me? Boom.
What? I can't hear you. Green says that even the term, and this is Green talking, quote, even the term one-eyed trouser snake may have a Latin ancestor in the one-off use of the word monstrum by the poet Ausonius, who lived from 310 to 395 AD.
Oh my God.
And Green notes that the monster in question, referring specifically to the penis, was stolen from Virgil, who was referring to Polyphemus, the Cyclops in the Odyssey, who, of course, as a Cyclops, was one-eyed.
One-eyed. There you go. Boom.
So the next time your redneck brother or brother-in-law talks about his one-eyed trouser snake, just remember he may be referring to Virgil.
Oh, Virgil. You're going back to Virgil and the Cyclops. Oh, thank you.
How do you feel about your dick now?
Yeah. It just shows anything you bake it for 100,000 years.
Yeah.
10,000 years, 2,000 years, suddenly it's poetry in history.
Green says that images in Latin that referred to the vagina included animals, fields and similar spaces, ditches and pits, caves, containers, doors, and pathways.
Okay, yeah, I'm down with all of that. I get it.
Images for sexual intercourse included eating, striking, cutting and splitting, digging, wounding, grinding, kneading, plowing, fighting, working, killing, writing, and playing.
Whoa, Roman, slow down. Slow down.
Yeah, so this has been around a while. This isn't all these terms didn't come up, with the Penthouse Forum or whatever in the 1960s.
Jesus. Boy, let's just ease up a little bit.
Yeah.
It takes two to tango. Come on.
Romantic, very romantic.
Yeah, don't be in such a hurry.
But when we're talking about English slang, it's actually descended from criminal cant, C-A-N-T.
Okay.
Which was the secret language used by vagabonds, beggars, and thieves.
That's so cool.
Back in the Middle Ages.
That's so cool. They make their own language.
Right.
That's genius. I love that.
And Catherine Thrush, in her book, A New Look at Old Words, gives probably the clearest distinction between slang and cant that I found.
Okay.
And Thrush says, quote, cant was a secret language originally developed by thieves to communicate in front of the uninitiated without being understood. It was very like code. In fact,
Yeah.
vagabonds and beggars developed a symbolic code that they scratched onto buildings and fences to let others of their kind know what sort of treatment they received at a certain place.
I have an example of that.
Really?
Our friend Frank Hausch, who's one of the listeners on this podcast, whenever I wanted to talk to him about weed over the phone, I would say, "Hey, you got any books? You want to read some books?"
Yeah, that probably really threw him off.
Yep.
Why these guys really wanted to get together and read books.
Yeah, they were always reading books. That's how we threw them off.
Some librarian. They tip off the librarian that you may have some overdue books in there. But then Thresh says slang, on the other hand, is always modern, always changing with fashion and taste.
Whoa.
Slang demonstrates that a person is in.
Yes.
Or current with pop culture, or identifies the speaker as part of a group.
Yes.
And that's something to keep in mind when choosing which words to use.
That's right. That is correct.
Yeah. So anyway, what she says is that from the 1300s through the 1700s, there were a lot of traveling beggars and thieves in Europe.
Yeah.
Who were looking to take advantage of people.
Yeah.
And so, for example, in France in the 1400s, there was a group of, they were old veterans from the 100 Years' War that would just travel around and just try to steal from people. And they were called the coquillards.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, everybody talks about the homeless situation. And yes, I mean, it's a huge thing, but this is not a new thing.
No, absolutely. At least, I mean, as far as I know, most of the, at this time, they were all organized into groups that would go around and rip people off.
That's amazing. If criminals here started to organize. Well, I guess that's what the mafia is, right?
Yeah. But anyway, in the 14 and 1500s, people like honest people started to publish what were called beggar books. And these were books and pamphlets that you could buy that would tip you off as to what the beggars were up to. Like what types of scams they were running.
That's cool. Beggar books.
Right. And the most famous of these beggar books was, Green says, was the Liber Vagatorum, which literally means the Book of the Beggars, and it was published in 1509.
Whoa.
And on top of like telling you what kind of cons that these people would run on you, they also contained a glossary of these slang terms that the beggars would use, these cant terms that the beggars would use.
So if you overheard them, you could kind of know what they were up to.
Right. And so Green says you could read about ring droppers who pretended to discover a piece of silver and then tried to pass it off to somebody and tried to sell it to somebody.
They still do that today. Somebody will find a wallet and say, "What should we do? I'll tell you what, I'll give it to you and you give me 50. But, there's all these scams.
It's the same scam. It's the same scam going back to the 1500s.
Amazing.
There were joners who were card sharps. They like rip people off.
Yep.
Sansengoers who presented forged begging letters, which I guess this is like now where an old lady gets an email. "Oh, Grandma, I'm in prison down in Cancun.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
I
found a treasure in Nigeria."
Right. So they would present letters supposedly from someone you knew who would say like, "Hey, please give this guy some money."
Right.
Lossenders, Lossenders, literally were the let loose. And what they claimed is that they had been imprisoned in the Middle East probably by Muslims and persecuted because of their faith. And then they tried to get you to feel sorry for them and give them some.
They were like crusaders, like from the Crusades, or no,
that's
this
what
was
they
way
said.
After that, right?
They said they were. They just said that they had been imprisoned and persecuted for their Christian faith.
So give me some money. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
The Klinkners pretended to have really gruesome wounds that they would kind of make up out of
that's to this day. You still got that.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The Schwanfelders would strip naked.
Okay.
to elicit pity. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it'll make you look crazy and people just feel bad for you. And yeah, okay.
You don't see many Schwanfelders around anymore.
No, you don't see the Schwanfelders too much out here in LA. Although, listen, never say never.
I know. After this comes out, this is probably, people will be like, hey,
give it a shot.
It's been a while, a couple hundred years since the Schwanfelders were. The Schweigers, okay, Schweiger, they would make up a case of jaundice using horse dung and water. And try to get people to feel sorry for them.
Oh my God. Even if I didn't know it was jaundice, even if I thought it wasn't jaundice and I knew it was just horse poo on their face, I'd give them a farthing.
Oh yeah. Just get away from it.
Yeah, get away. Get some help. Stop rubbing poo on your face.
Yeah. That's where to me, it's like they almost deserve the money. If you're willing to do that for some cash,
earned it. You earned it. Mm-hmm.
But then in the 1600s and 1700s, just like we do now, playwrights and writers such as Thomas Dekker, who lived from 1572 to 1632, and George Parker, who lived from 1732 to 1800, they started adding this criminal cant to their plays and their books to make them seem more realistic and entertaining.
Yeah. Just and because they were authors and they were making no money, they were hanging around with those people.
I know. Throw that in there, though, just like a Quentin Tarantino or a Michael Mann or something to try to make it seem like more like more current. You know?
Yes, I love that.
So Parker's book in 1781 called The View of Society in High and Low Life, he used criminal terms such as a blue pigeon flyer who was a thief that would crawl up on roofs and steal all the lead. the lead from the top of the roof.
Wow.
Traps, TRAPS, were thief takers. And apparently before you had an organized police force, if you got ripped off, the only way you could get your stuff back is you would hire like a bounty hunter called a thief taker.
Oh boy.
Who would go out and try to get your stuff back.
And they were thieves as well. Well, that still exists today. Like if somebody finds your phone and I'll give you a reward if you bring it back when they're the ones who took it.
It's the same thing. It's the same scam, Maces, MACES, were thieves who specialized in stealing watches.
Okay.
And then
it's limiting. Yeah. You're really why narrow it? Nope. Sorry. Yep.
Let it go.
They go into a house and there's diamonds, rings, diamonds, cash. Nope. I just want the watches.
If I break my code, and then
what are they called? Maces? I'm a mace, God damn it.
A queer rooster was a police spy who hung out where criminals hung out.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So you can probably stick out.
Cock-a-doodle, do ya? Yeah.
The resurrection rig was body snatching or grave robbing.
That's so weird. And that was for doctors mainly? Who would buy those? Yeah. Doctors.
Because it was illegal to practice anatomy. So they would pay people to go out and steal bodies.
It's so nasty from start to finish, Yeah. Everything about it's nasty.
It's just awful. A little snakesman was a little kid who the thieves would shove through a little window at a house. And then this little snakesman would run around and open the door, and they could get in there and come in and rob everybody.
You little snakesman. Oh, you son of a bitch.
And a buzznapper was an apprentice pickpocket.
Oh, I thought that was somebody who would call you while you're napping. Or in my house, they always need something from my room when I'm napping. You just you don't know what it's like with the kids.
No,
there's always something. The minute I take my pants off and I get down, I'm gonna nap, which is very rare. Always right before when I'm in the alpha state, right before I go deep, somebody comes in and goes, "Dad, what's my password for my Instagram?" Or
Yeah. Do you prefer them just to come in and get it, or is it worse when somebody comes in and like tries to quietly, slowly,
Yeah,
like
that's the
open your
worst.
drawer?
It's all bad. I want them to leave me alone for 90 fucking minutes. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I just want one REM cycle for once in my life.
You have to. You got to go out in your car. You got to go sleep in your car. Lock the door. Don't let people in
I want
there.
to be in my bed with my underwear off, you know?
And by way of these plays and these novels, there was also something called a rogue memoir.
What?
ROGUE. GUE. Rogue memoirs. And these were like true life tales about a real criminal.
Oh, who would write them? The writers would write it. They would interview this person, like write a memoir or
probably
autobiography?
make it up.
Mm-hmm.
Probably make it up. But I mean, I think it continued on into like the dime novels at the end of the 1800s.
Yeah, Law and Order. It's just like the what we've got today. Everybody wants to hear about it.
Right.
What's it
And
like?
you're fascinated by the criminals, and so they would write these rogue memoirs, the true life tales of, highwayman, Ben Turpin or whatever his name was.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, by way of those books, those rogue memoirs, then people started using this cant in everyday life. They picked it up and started using it themselves.
Hey, don't mace my watch. What?
and so there was a writer named Charles Cotton who lived from 1630 to 1687. And in his books, he's responsible for the first recorded use of the terms to arse about.
Ooh, arse about. Ass about?
Yeah, just to kind of fuck about, cut away, meaning to run off.
Ooh.
Double jugs for buttocks.
I know what oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, don't queer rooster me, all right?
Drumstick and drum. Do you have any idea of what that would be?
Masturbation?
No, for the penis, though. Drumstick and drum.
But what's the drum? I don't understand. Is that the scrotum? Or is that your thigh? Or are you just whacking
I think it's the scrotum. I think it's the scrotum. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not crazy about that one.
Because it's drumstick, singular. Drumstick
I know.
and drum.
Well, that part I get. I knew it had to be that. But what's the drum? That's so weird.
Yeah. I have to read his book. I'll have to read his book. Tools of generation for the testicles. Porthole for anus.
Of generation. That is going the long way around town, isn't it?
Yeah, to say balls. I think.
Yeah, just say balls or testicle. I mean, that just doesn't. That's Jesus.
Porthole again for anus. The Privy Council for the vagina.
Privy Council.
Yeah, the Privy Council.
Why? What is that?
I think the Privy Council was like the private council of a king or something.
Oh,
this was something kind
okay, I like that.
Private.
Yeah.
Toby for the female genitalia.
Toby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Truck meaning to have sex.
Truck.
And to throw the snot about meaning to weep, which I kind of thought.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Hey, don't throw the snot about. Here, come here.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
I
Cotton
like that.
was the first one to record the term shit breach as a term of abuse.
Shit breach? Like you shit breached me? Like you beat the shit out of me?
No, like your shit breeches. Like you shit your own breeches.
Oh, hey, you're an idiot. Oh, I see. You shit breeches. Damn.
Yeah, like he used the term when in like the 1680s shit breach.
Okay, so it's like calling somebody a dingleberry or
right.
dipshit.
And it's funny that this one really amused me because a few years ago, like 5 years ago, my cousin Pam was telling a story about she only saw my mom's mother swear once, our grandmother swear once. Mm-hmm. And back in the 1960s, some guy down in Parsons, Kansas had done something really stupid. And my grandma was like, that old shit britches. and here it is. And this is it. This is shit
britches.
Goes back to 1680s. And here it is in 1960s in Kansas. My grandmother's still using shit bridges.
That's good. Boy, that's some staying power right there. But it means you're so stupid you shit your pants, right? You're an idiot.
Right. You're an idiot. You're so stupid that you shit your own pants.
Yeah, basically. You don't even know when to go poop. Dummy.
But my grandmother was still using it, like 400 years later. So, and this idea of slang being descended from criminal cant was still being discussed and explored all the way into the 20th century. Mm-hmm. In the Virginia Law Review in 1921, Joseph Sullivan said, "What is slang? Slang briefly defined as low, vulgar, and unauthorized language, a popular but unauthorized word, phrase, or mode of expression. Also, the jargon of some particular calling or class in society. Low popular cant as the slang of the theater."
Oh boy.
Or colleges.
It always ends up with us, doesn't it?
I know.
God.
He's like linking actors along with like the criminals. What I mean?
What does he mean unauthorized? Like who's authorizing? Jesus, unauthorized.
I think it's because they're making it up themselves. They're not going to like some academy or the Academy of Language.
Unauthorized.
And Sullivan also mentioned, he was a lawyer, but he mentioned the peculiar language used by the underworld is, to my mind, due to their perverted but acute mentality.
Oh, boy. Typical lawyer. Typical.
Yeah. Kind of a backhanded compliment,
Yeah, that's the pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah. But he says, because of slang, crooks can converse at will in the presence of the police. Like you and Frank.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you want to read some books?
Yeah, let's read some books.
Or they can write to each other without at all divulging to the uninitiated their meaning.
Yeah. Hey, I ordered some books, but he hasn't. I beeped the librarian, but he hasn't called me back.
Yeah, the librarian's going to swing by and drop a quarter pound of books for me.
Remember when dealers had beepers and you'd beep them?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That was pretty advanced then too.
Yeah. Now you just go next to the Starbucks.
But Sullivan mentioned some of the criminal slang terms in the 1920s include slinging lingo, which is where we get this title from, the title of this episode.
Yeah. Slinging lingo. I like that.
Good fellow, meaning a thief who pays their bills. People usually think about it now with the mafia. But so in the 20s,
a thief who pays their bills. So like they steal, but they're upstanding. They appear upstanding.
Well, I think they steal, but they pay off the people they're supposed to pay off. You know what I mean? So they're still honest amongst thieves, I guess.
Right.
A lush toucher was someone who robbed drunks. That was their specialty.
Did you ever get mugged when you were hammered? I never did.
No, I never did.
But we were just sitting. I was a sitting duck. You're not. People don't know. You may look. You don't want to mess with McCray.
Yeah, I was going the other direction.
Yeah,
if I got
you'd hurt them.
But
yeah,
grafter, which we think of grifter now, which is a derivation of that. But grafter was a thief in the language of criminals. A political pauper was slang for a political office holder.
A political pauper. That's great.
Yeah. A dress suit burglar was a political lobbyist who would corrupt legislators. An Irish clubhouse was a police station.
Oh, that sounds derogatory.
I know.
To my people.
Again, coming because there were so many Irish cops at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A swell mouthpiece was a very good lawyer. And a yeggman, Yeggman, was a safecracker.
Oh.
And you don't hear that term, safecracker or yeggman, very much anymore.
Yeggman.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. Where does that come from? Yegg.
I think there was actually a safecracker in the late 1800s who's John Yegg or something like that.
So he just, wow, that's like,
right.
That's like inventing Kleenex, you know?
Yeah. So they named it after the
Yeah.
Yeggman, you know.
Yeah.
And then going back to the history of English slang in 1756, we get the first use of the word slang in print. And Jonathan Green says that the word slang is found in William Tollerby's 1756 novel, The History of Two Orphans. And in it, Tollerby writes that one of the characters, Thomas Throw, had been upon the town and knew the slang well and understood every word in the Scoundrel's Dictionary.
So slang was a slang. Slang
Right.
was a slang word.
Right. Right.
That's a great
Scoundrel's vocabulary.
Always the low life. It's always about I guess that's true.
And then in the late 1700s, another type of slang came along, and it was called flash. And flash was also used by criminals, but it was also used by rich upper class young men who hung around like racetracks and brothels. So, kind of the rich kids slumming it would pick up flash, and they would use flash.
Yeah.
And from slash, we get things like a kinchin was a little child. Das
kinchin?
Kinchin, yeah. Kinchin.
I'm going to start calling my kids that. Kinchin! Breakfast is ready.
A pad was a bed.
Yeah, right. We do.
Trotters meant legs.
Okay.
Old codger. That's where we get old codger is coming from that flash.
Wow. 1700s. Like that. These are good.
And daylights meant eyes.
Daylights.
Yeah.
Oh, she flashed her daylights at me. Oh, man.
And then beginning in the 1780s, lexicographers started to put all this slang, flash, and cant down in slang dictionaries.
Okay, finally.
Yeah. And so in 1785, a guy named Francis Gross came up with a classical dictionary of the vulgar tongue. In 1859, John C. Houghton published a dictionary of modern slang, cant, and vulgar words. In 1937, Eric Partridge published a dictionary of slang and unconventional English. And then as for American slang specifically, it wasn't until 1960 that Harold Wentworth and Stuart Berg Flexner published a dictionary of American slang.
It took two of them. That's some heavy lifting.
And Jonathan Green notes that in 1872, the writer George Eliot once said that, quote, all choice of words is a slang. Correct English is the slang of prigs who write history and essays.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Turn it right back at you.
I know. So,
which is true, right? I mean, lots of slang eventually makes it into Webster. You'll hear that.
Yeah.
Like, didn't ain't get into Webster at some point?
Right.
So slang is kind of like the precursor, like the laboratory for future words.
Right. Mm-hmm. And the more it's used and the bigger group of people that use it, then it becomes accepted, or at least acceptable to use it in regular speech.
That's what I meant at the top of the podcast. Like, you deconstruct the language, which ends up creating more language.
Right.
Damn.
Right. So what is the social significance of slang, and why do we need it? And Julie Coleman says, in his book, Slang Today and Yesterday, which was published in 1933, Eric Partridge listed 17 reasons people use slang, including to express their individuality,
right,
to express themselves more vividly than they can easily be done in standard English,
okay,
to express emotion, like you were talking about, like, fuck, what the fuck are you? Yeah. To create humor.
Yes.
And to identify themselves as a member of a group, which may be a social group, but also an age group or an interest group. To fit in with the people around them. So if people around you are using slang, most likely you're going to try
if you're with a bunch of coolios, you better, jump in.
Right. You got to use it to show that you're part of the group. And also it's a way to test if someone else is or isn't part of the group.
Right. If they don't know it, then we make fun of them and they leave.
Right. And Coleman says quote, although slang appears to function as a mark of rebelliousness and nonconformity, and may be created by nonconformists, it's often adopted most enthusiastically by the most diligent conformists.
Uh-huh. Right, because you want to fit in.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's
So
so
to fit in, you will start using the slang that somebody else. You're not creating your own slang. You're
Right.
using the slang that other people are using.
But it happens so fast that things get indoctrinated now with all of our means of communication.
Yeah.
Like you look at rap, hip hop. I mean, Jesus, every suburban white kid instantly knows what they're talking about because it's broadcast out. So it immediately loses its edge, I guess.
Yeah, and it's very similar. Mentioning that, like, people use that just like Flash was used.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's to give you some credibility, some street cred. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Another thing Jonathan Green says about slang is that in its preoccupations with both the circus and the sewer, meaning like just, low entertainment and vulgarity, slang represents the unfettered pleasure principle, that which is consciously hidden and only shamefully revealed. And he says slang is not standard and it has no wish to be, which I think is kind of cool.
Very cool.
And then Julie Coleman says that for slang to develop and thrive, there must be a sense of group identity living under shared circumstances of inferiority and uniformity.
Yeah.
And so that's why you'll get a lot of slang will develop in prisons with inmates, in military ranks, drug dealers, musicians,
theaters,
and then
theater people. I mean, comedy. People? I mean, there's so many slang terms, for a bit, for example. That's one that comes to mind.
Yeah. But it's people living under shared circumstances, shared identity, and usually a shared inferiority, or like socially, it's a way for them to kind of fight back against.
I get
those
that.
Above them.
I like that.
And then Barbara Kipfer, she says that slang has its roots in the deepest parts of the mind, in the unconscious self. And for that reason, she says slang has a salvational and therapeutic function.
That's deep, Barbara.
Yeah, which I would agree with that, as far as like using slang or like swearing or using a slang word, like shit breeches. Like my grandmother using shit breeches.
I think you were the person who taught me he's got moon rocks in his head.
I don't know. I don't know if I did or not. That may have been Frank.
I think it was you. I have a very good. Yeah, I'm going to put my money on it. My kids love it when they can't believe it.
That moon rocks. Yeah,
he's got moon rocks in his head.
I don't know if that. Kipper also says slang makes room for our vileness. And then in 1895, the poet Walt Whitman said, quote, "Considering language then as some mighty potentate, into the majestic audience hall of the monarch ever enters a personage like one of Shakespeare's clowns, and takes position there and plays a part even in the stateliest ceremonies."
Yes.
And that slang is what
that's why slang is such a part of comedy, of what I do, I guess, now that I think about it. Because it's a sign that you're the outsider.
Right. Right.
Wow. This is deep. I'm learning a lot today.
Oh,
this makes up for the fortnight that we've been off the air.
I know. I guess should I keep going, or are you getting bored with it?
No,
I find it fascinating.
Me too.
So now I'm going to talk about some specific slang terms.
Okay, here we go.
And how old they've been around, how long they've been around. So duds for clothes has been around since the 1440s.
What?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say the 50s.
I know.
Wow.
Duds for clothes
40s
has been
maybe?
around.
That's amazing.
Neck, meaning to swallow something, like he necked a beer.
Wow. I've never heard that, but okay.
Has been around since 1518.
Okay.
Stiff, meaning a corpse since the 1790s.
Whoa. Well, it
Yeah.
makes sense. They got stiff real quick without refrigeration.
And then jerkwater, meaning an insignificant place since the 1890s.
Wow, jerkwater.
Some jerkwater town.
Yeah, some jerkwater country.
And Coleman says that the word pig, with reference to police officers, has actually been used since the early 1800s.
Wow. I thought it would go deeper than that. That's interesting. I wonder where that came from. I smell bacon.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll try to post I'll do a little more research and try to post that. Coleman also mentions the knowledge box for the head, going back to 1780.
All right.
Cake hole for the mouth, 1943.
Put that in your cake hole. Or pie hole.
Pie hole, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Soup strainer for a mustache goes back to 1867.
I've never heard that. That's fantastic. It's a nice looking soup strainer you got working.
Yeah. He was wearing a soup strainer on his lip, and he
looks like your soup strainer needs a little bit of wax.
Try using that now.
I'm going to throw that out there.
Blowhard goes back to the 1820s.
Okay.
And it meant an insistent, aggressive talker or a braggart, just like it does now.
Yeah, blowhard.
But then blow in the 1800s, to blow meant to treat someone to something. Like, let me blow you to dinner.
Well, that changed, didn't it?
Yeah, you might want to think twice about bringing that one back. Hick, meaning a rural person, goes back to the 1560s, and it's a nickname of Richard, which was thought of as a country name.
Wow,
the same
1560s.
Yeah, Hick. The same as Reuben, which was also thought of a country name, which is where we get Rube.
You Rube.
Yeah.
Reuben?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then slang terms can also arise from various types of abbreviations, such as the beginning of the word can be omitted, as in za.
Za. For pizza, right. Oh, I thought you were saying huzzah. I was trapped in the za for pizza, sure.
Or the end of the word can be omitted, like in dis, as in disrespect.
Yes, that's a good one.
And then there was a suffix that was used to create certain slang words back at in the 1880s and 1890s at rugby school in Oxford.
Oh, boy.
And they would put ER on the end of something. Okay. So that's where we get association football at the time. They called sock from the association football soccer. That's how we get soccer. Was a slang term at rugby school.
You just put an ER at the end and you make it cool.
Right. So they called champers champers was champagne. Breckers was breakfast.
Okay, breckers. Oh, Jesus.
So, and we kind of talked about this already, but there's a thing where primary slang, there's a distinction between primary slang, which is when you're part of the group itself.
Yeah.
And you use that slang naturally.
Right.
And then secondary slang is when someone else uses the slang that you use to try to fit in or show you that they understand you. So that's where when
Vanilla Ice in his song.
Well, it's like when a parent uses the slang to be like, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Stop dissing me.
Like, your parent's not really using it.
Yeah.
But
you
that's
queer rooster.
All right,
I'll
John.
blow dinner. I'll blow dinner.
I'll blow you to dinner.
I'll blow you to dinner.
Okay.
Okay. That's like 4 hours away.
Why wait for dinner? Let's go blow me to lunch. All right, John. So now I'm just going to read off some words that I pulled out of the slang dictionary just to show you the breadth of human creativity, what we've been doing with our big brains for all this time. And I'm going to read off a list for to begin with terms for drunk, slang terms for drunk. Okay.
Yeah.
Bombed, blitzed, blotto, boozed up, banjaxed, bewaddled, booze artist, boozy, bunned, goes back to 1908, buzzed, canned, camboozelated. So, stewed to the gills, tanked up, on the bus.
On the bus? Because you got to ride the bus. Yeah, you're too drunk to drive your horse or car.
Right, 1920s. Fried goes back to the 1920s as well.
Yeah, man, I was fried.
Far ahead, like I'm far ahead.
Oh boy, I like
Shellacked, half seas over means goes back to the 1730s. Fanushkied, hammered. I like this one. Fit chased.
Fit chased. Man, I was fit chased last night.
Fit chased.
Is that how shit faced came to fit chased?
It's inverted it, so it's a play on shit face. I was so fit chased last night.
Because you're so drunk you can't even say shit face.
Yeah.
I get it. God, I'm slow.
Have a bag on. Have a load on. Feel no pain. High, laid out, lost in the sauce, loaded for bear. Loop-legged, non copos poo-poo. Overserved, toes up, sophisticated. Sophisticated. Plutered, puggled, put to bed with a shovel. I kind of like that one too.
Put to bed with a shovel. Man,
I was put to bed with a shovel.
I am so hungover. I was put to bed with a shovel last night.
Isn't it great?
That's good. That's good.
Rum-dum, schnockered, spifflicated, squiffed, walking on rocky socks.
Okay.
And this is my favorite, I think. Under the affluence of alcohol.
Oh, that's
all right.
good.
So continuing, slang terms for penis include boner, which goes back to the 1950s.
Really?
Banana, bone on, beat show. A man with a small penis is known as a bug fucker.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Chubby, cock, dick from the 1880s in the British Armed Forces. It's where dick comes from.
Wow. Those Brits. They're filthy.
This is kind of interesting. A slang term for a female police officer in the 1960s was a dickless Tracy.
Jesus.
Ding-a-ling, dong, ding-dong, dink, dingus, donkey dick, doodle, dork, hang down, prick, hammer, hard on, have a bone on, have lead in one's pencil. Johnson, Jones, John Thomas, love muscle, love steak, meat, middle leg, third leg, one-eyed demon, we're coming back to, one-eyed snake. Pecker, sausage, weenie, weapon, salami, pocket rocket, prong. Hud, pudding, rod, shaft, root, reltney, which origin unknown. Reltney. Reltney.
Oh, man, you should have seen my reltney last night.
Schlong is Yiddish for snake.
Okay.
Schwanz is Yiddish for tail.
The Yiddish is a go-to for anything.
I know. Yuts, skin flute, shaft, sporta woody, stiffy, tool, wee willy, winky, or wally.
Oh, God.
All
I
right.
could listen to this all night.
Well, we still have time, I guess. Should I keep going? I'll keep going.
Yeah, give us some more.
Masturbation. Again, I'm just picking up words that I'm going to start using.
These are trying to...
of alcohol.
Exactly.
Masturbation, slang terms, beat off, ball off, jack off, jag off, jerk the gherkin, whack off, wank off, whack off, buff the helmet, choke the chicken, choke the gopher, cuff one's meat, fist fuck, flog one's dong, flog one's meat, frig, fudge, hand job, milk the lizard, pound one's peenie, pound one's meat, pound one's law. You know, it's funny when you hit the dictionary, it'd be like, to pound, and then it will list all the different, underneath it.
Right.
Pound one's dummy.
Oh my God.
Beat one's meat, beat the hog, pull oneself off, pull one's pud, pocket pool, pocket polo, rub off, screw off, spank the monkey, and stroke.
Ah.
And then for boobs, we have Bazooms, bazongas, bazungies, bazookas, big brown eyes, tatas. Bodacious tatas actually came from Officer and a Gentleman, the movie. I always thought that had been around longer.
Really?
Boobs, bubs, boobies, boobage, breastworks, built like a brick shithouse, was a woman with large breasts. Cans, casabas, garbanzos, gazongas, gazungas, globes, headlights, hooters, stacked, jugs, knockers, knobs, tits, lungs, maracas, melons, muffins, ninnies, and pistols.
Human beings we're just a waste of time, man.
The fact that we came up with all this, it's just 2.5 million years of evolution, and this is what we're doing with our brains. All right, so then we go to sex, and slang terms for sex are ball, bone, bang, boink, boink, bop, boom, boom, screw, hot beef, ejection, bounce on, bouncy, bouncy, boff, bugger, bump fuzz. Bunny fuck is a quick sex act.
Yeah.
Cop a feel, cornhole is anal sex from the 1930s.
Wow.
Diddle, dip one's wick, do the wild thing, boff, fuck, futz, to niggle, get one's banana peeled, goes back to 1889. Get down, get busy, get it on, get in someone's pants, go the limit, have it off, half and half from the 1960s prostitute slang for fellatio plus copulation. I'll have the half and half, please.
Oh
hit skins, slap skins, hook up, humpery, jump or jump one's bones, jiggy, knock off a piece, lay, make time with someone, make it with someone, nail, piece of ass, piece of tail, play hide the weenie, salami or sausage, plank, pluck, poke, pom-pom came from World War II, and pom-pom was armed forces slang, and they think it's from the sound of anti-aircraft guns.
So wow.
So rapid fire, pom-pom. Pork, pound, pump, hump, put it to someone, nooner, quickie, one night stand, ride, mount, rock, as in my man rocks me all night long. Goes back to 1900. Rub the bacon, score, scrump, trim, scrog, scrag, screw, shag, stoop, sleep with, schnog, soak one's hose, stuff, or turn a trick if you're actually paying money for it.
Rub the bacon. What the hell? Oh my God.
All right, John. So now, with that historical slang in place, we'll go to current slang.
All right.
And see if maybe you recognize some of this.
Okay. I'll do the best I can.
There's a very funny little book called Brain Rot, the Gen A Lexicon, which is self-published by someone calling themselves Ohio Rizzler, which is a pseudonym, which is also slang. Ohio Rizzler is slang. So they're using a pseudonym. But it's a funny book because it's written as if it's from a company management who are trying to get all of their employees to use the new slang.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Like a training manual kind of thing.
Right.
That's
it's a
great.
pretty funny book called Brain Rot, the Gen A Lexicon. But I also pulled this information from a lot of articles that came out at the beginning of this year where people are like, parents, here's your kid's new slang, just so you know what they're saying.
And they're doing it for the same reason. They don't want you to know what they're saying.
Right. That's a reason why everybody uses slang. You know what I mean?
So
and as soon as your parent starts to like learn it, and probably even this podcast, this episode,
we're responsible for jumping the shark on a lot of terms.
Well, we're not done yet. Okay, so this is apparently current slang. It's probably outdated already, but this came out 2024, 2025 slang.
Okay.
8. If you say someone ate, it means they did something extremely well.
Okay.
Aura or aura points, AURA, is a way to measure coolness or someone's social energy.
Okay. Yeah, that's familiar.
Brain rot is when you lose all sense of who you are after being online for too long.
That makes sense. That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Cap, C-A-P, means to lie or boast about.
Really?
So no cap means no lie.
Oh, Jesus. I didn't know that. God, I'm old.
Have you been saying that one?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was, the last I heard, cap meant you shot somebody.
Right. It's changed. Now it means to lie or boast about.
Damn it. Everything's so hard.
Drip DRIP means cool or stylish.
Well, that's the opposite of what I use drip for.
Like, what a drip. It'd be like, oh.
You're an old drip. He's boring.
Gyat, Gyat, once a euphemism for goddamn as an exclamation, it now can be used for a woman with a big butt.
Oh, okay. Odd evolution there.
Mog, M-O-G, according to Cole Behrens, to mog someone is to be more attractive than they are.
Oh, he mogged me, man. You should have seen him at the dance last night. Whew.
And then Ohio, and this may be out of date, I don't know. Ohio means something bad, strange, weird, cringe, or dumb.
Ohio, that's so funny. Why Ohio? Well, I guess
Lehr in the book says, quote, "It's now Ohio that is the den of all things eerie and out of the ordinary. Urban legends roam in the wastelands of this strange land. Ohio represents the absurdist, dystopian, post-apocalyptic version of America where each survivor lives for himself and nothing makes sense and everything is out of control."
Whoa. God, that is so
Ohio. I think people used to make fun of Kansas that way too.
Yeah.
Where like it's always
but
just
Kansas,
someplace.
We were made fun of it as idiots who didn't believe in dinosaurs and stuff like that. But Ohio, that's darker. It's more of like a wasteland. It's like the future of everything that's wrong with humanity is Ohio. I mean, according to that.
I've been to Ohio. I have family in Ohio. I love Ohio.
I'll be performing in Ohio in April. I'm going to Columbus. And then I go from Columbus, Ohio to Oslo, Norway. How did I get into this life?
The Columbus of Scandinavia, I guess.
And then I go to Switzerland. And then I go to Atlanta. Who's booking these gigs?
NPC comes from video gaming and means a non-playable character.
Yeah, it's a computer-controlled character, usually.
Right. An NPC can be used to describe somebody who fails to interact with other people.
He's an NPC. Yeah, that's great. I love that.
I love that too. And it's also just a ho-hum person who's in the background all the time.
Look at that NPC.
An NPC.
Yeah.
Riz is short for charisma.
Yep.
And
I know that one.
is someone, a rizzler is someone who's good at flirting with people.
Oh, a rizzler. Okay. Yeah.
Sigma, it actually comes from the manosphere, which is a misogynistic part of the internet. But a Sigma is a guy who is beyond the alpha male. He also happens to not try to be cool. He's a self-reliant lone wolf who doesn't need any validation from anybody else.
He sounds like a horrible person.
Sounds like a dick. He
sounds like a dick. Well, that's what dicks become.
And I would say, if you're trying to be a Sigma, because you're supposed to, you don't care, you don't try.
Yeah. Don't be a Sigma.
Well, I mean, if you're going online and every other word out of your mouth is what a badass man you are, you're not really you're trying too hard. You know what I mean?
True. It's true.
You're trying too hard. You're not being a Sigma at that point.
Yeah.
Come on. Learn the word. Learn the slang, man.
Yeah. Come on, man. Don't be so hunky-dory. Don't be a queer rooster on us.
Another term I found from the manosphere is edging. Have you heard about this?
No.
And this is where a guy will bring himself to the edge of orgasm and then stop just before he has an orgasm.
Okay, that's just a queer rooster. That's just an idiot.
Well, I know.
Well, what's the point of that?
Well, they say doing so helps one increase their sexual stamina. Another feature of the Sigma archetype.
Well, hey, just go downtown on your lady.
No, it's like to me edging.
Hey, here's a little tip. Maybe they don't want you to edge. Maybe they want you to finish up. Go home. Jesus.
Like, in our time, edging it was like blue balls.
Yeah, that was
it was something you didn't want to get. You tried to avoid.
No,
now people are actually
listen. If you want you want to elongate the sex, go down on your girl, or guy, whoever. There's other things you can do.
Right, you don't have to edge. This is you've taken like sex and masturbation, the one thing that's free and fun in the world, and you've made it weird.
Yeah. God, might as well put a bag over your head. Doing that crazy shit. When did sex not become good enough? It's pretty good. Just straight up, everybody.
Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it, man.
Yeah.
Whoever you are, whoever you're doing it with, just enjoy it. Don't
be such a queer rooster.
Don't go out there edging.
Yeah.
Did you? I shouldn't ask. Speaking of blue balls. Speaking of blue balls. No, I was going to say, speaking of blue balls, I once had blue balls so bad I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital.
No, Jesus.
Tempted. I'd be in a wheelchair.
That's too. You can't get back.
I know.
No jacking or anything's gonna bring you home after that.
You're like, what happened to him?
Wow.
He looks like walking around on a walker right
Who's that guy with elephantitis? His feet are fine, if you know what I'm saying.
And then finally, skibidi. And it was supposed to be a nonsense word used in scat singing. And the Russian band, I love the Russian band a little bit. It's hilarious. But they do a song called skibidi. And the word essentially means nothing. That's the joke. If it can be called that, it means nothing and everything, depending on how you want to use it. It's a word without boundaries, serving as an all-purpose explanation, a meme reference, or a dance.
Yes.
So it's skibidi.
Yeah. That's where irony's gone now. That's where absurdity is gone. It's like, it's gone. It's way out there. The kids have got it going on. I'm telling you. They're going to save this thing.
All right, John. Well, we've come to the end here.
We sure have.
And I think I've got some new words I can use.
Sure. Like what? What are you going to use? What's on your... What are you going to try tomorrow?
What was it? The affluence of alcohol. I love. So funny.
But you're sober now. You can't even,
I know.
That one's out.
I'll still use it. All right.
I'm queer rooster. Well, I'm all about queer rooster. I just love that.
NPC is. I don't even play video games, but I love the non-playable character. It's just hilarious.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah. So I may try to use that one. Anyway, all right, you skibidi rizzlers.
Well, everybody, this is human number 2, John Lehr, signing off.
And this is human number 1, John McCray. Thank you for hanging with us and staying with us and being patient with us. We are still here. We have other episodes lined up, ready to go as soon as we get a chance when we're both free and we can record them. And anyway, I just thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Love you guys.
Do.
All right. See you, Pookies.